everyone, and welcome to Star Wars Legends of the Sprawl at Chaotic Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Felicia, Ed, and Corinne with their adventures at the fringe of Imperial space. As for Paul, who usually plays Chevron, he is off continuing his family, and we wish them all the best with the new arrival. Don't forget that you can help or indeed hinder by using your channel points. Check out the options in the chat bar. You can also join the chaos by clicking the Discord link below, or vote towards the session twist by becoming a subscriber. So let's rejoin the players for their new mission, I guess, Reflections, as we go back a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Hello everyone, and welcome back, and hello to our players.
Hello.
So, with Chevron going off and starting his new enterprise, Club Chev, Casino Chevron, whatever, we have JT, we have Victoria, and we have Nima, who are just chilling out in the Sprawl. They have their hidden asteroid base, a former smuggler cache of Bolsonaro. And you guys have been through a lot. You have gone through the whole rags to riches story. You've gone and pissed off a Sith. You have invaded the Black Sun and carved up one of their ships. You have pissed off some spice traders, gained a bunch of bounties, lost them again, and rescued a bunch of celebrities. So the question is now, what next? And rather than me giving you an impending mission, I thought it'd be a good time to freeform it a bit. When we first started this game, it was just a casual mission of the week kind of thing that we were doing around a tabletop originally. And now it's become somewhat of a campaign as I started weaving all the missions together. What started off being a thinly threaded together narrative is now a campaign with an end as well. It's only a finite campaign and very short as well.
Oh, there's an end to this.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say we can't do other things with your characters afterwards, but there is a definite end to your story. And you now find yourself being of great means, of great power, but also a few unanswered questions, some of them personal, some of them you've accrued as a group. So what I'd like to do today is I would like to pass the mic over to you guys with regard to dealing with some Don't know what happened just there with Zoom, but I seem to be back.
Yeah, you're never gone.
Yeah, you've
We're
never
never gone.
I want to pass the mic to you guys with regard to anything you'd like to investigate, any of the previous missions you'd like to look back on, anything for personal storylines you'd like to address and pull the others in on. So I'd like to kind of do it in character as well, rather than asking you, the players, who's going to go first or anything like that. I'm going to say that you guys are in your asteroid base, as yet unnamed, and you're just chilling out. You've got the couple, Nima and Victoria, and then the droid JT. It's quite quiet. Occasionally you get certain visitors. You get Tweak, you get Yantu dropping in from time to time now that you trust him with the location. And I think you've trusted him with the location anyway.
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah.
And there's a few others from the Crazy Hair crew who either know where the asteroid is or know to send you a message so that you can meet up with them. There are some people who have kind of edged closer to being a member of the Crazy Hair crew, named after your original ship that got destroyed. And Osnar, for example, is one of them. And you have good standing in Nala's Warren in general. You also have a reasonably good standing in Ixo's Warren as well, albeit if you ask permission to go there in the first place. So you're sat discussing what kind of things you would like to look into now that currently there doesn't seem to be anything on. I'll pass over to you.
JT is uncharacteristically relaxed.
It's like, what's wrong?
Yeah. After previous missions, he's like, something's gone wrong, or he's done something wrong, or he's done something bad. But this last one pretty much went off without a hitch in his mind. He didn't do anything wrong. Nothing went wrong on his watch. Felt pretty competent. So he's feeling himself at the moment.
That is good.
That's very good. Nima's enjoying the quiet as well, having some time to just spend with her wife and also her favorite droid.
Well, I think most likely it's probably just Nima and Victoria, and JT's off doing his own thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Uncommonly independent.
Yeah.
I think is the phrase.
Yeah,
The fact that he's gone off on his own is
messaging
probably
you
a
like,
good
"Are you okay? Is everything all right?" Like, I'm really.
Do you have a pet droid with you? Do you have several pet droids with you? Is R2 with you?
X4.
X4.
I think JT's alone, actually.
Yeah.
I think JT's actually like wandering the Warren by himself.
Okay. So that's Nala's Warren. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. The temperament in Nala's Warren at the moment seems to be one of it's generally positive. There's no major threat at the moment. You guys are kind of local celebrities now. The latest edition of Bess's ships coming in and trading with the Warren has kind of raised its profile in one sense. That's made some people nervous, but most people who are just residents to the Warren are quite happy for the new influx of goods. Normally, they would have to rely on smugglers, and so it's changed the rarity profile of the Warren. There are certain things that are more available now that they weren't before.
Like food.
There are things, yes, food and water in particular are less of a problem. Every one of Bess's freighters that come in seems to have overstocked on their own water provisions and dumps a ton of water as they come along. To the point where Nala has had to issue some extra mining into this asteroid to create extra water banks. And so, yeah, she's very pleased with that. There's more food. There's different types of drink coming in as well. For example, one of the things that people are noticing is that they're able to get hold of milk easier. And then, of course, there is that the bars seem to have a wider range of alcohol these days.
We'll be happy about that.
Oh yeah.
Of course not. That means he has competitors now.
Oh yeah. He's starting.
But-
his...
That just pushes the value of good bars up.
Yeah.
If you're in a city full of bad bars and there's one good bar,
Yeah.
Yep. There is a kind of moonshine that's always been in Nala's Warren that now has been rebranded as kind of a
Delicacy.
local. It's a bit of local pride, you know. People drink it because they're an original, sprawler. You know,
Not because it tastes any good.
You know, only sprawlers
Is it-
can deal with that particular brand of piss.
is it like Screech?
Yeah.
Is it like Screech?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Yeah. I'm not saying it tastes like coolant or that it contains coolant. I'm just saying it doesn't not taste like coolant.
Legally, it doesn't contain any coolant.
Yeah, legally it's not
What was
cool.
it? Similar to, but legally distant from.
Yes.
You can see that there's a somewhat of a culture change here. There is one thing that, as I say, there are some people who are slightly more on edge. Some people came to the Warren, to the various Warrens, to hide, and the new influx of people mean there's more eyes to be able to look for people. There's more strangers coming in, not the usual cadre of smugglers, and as such, they're having to deal with more strangers coming in. And you haven't really noticed it because you've never really been a stranger, but they're going, wow, we're really quite xenophobic here. I never realized that. Not due to race, because there's always been people of all different races in Nala's Warren. Just if you're not from round here, if they don't recognize your ship coming in, that people will be noting who you are and glaring at you as you're coming off the ships. Nala has it all in hand because no one's more paranoid than the former smuggler. Some people are just on edge. So, what are you doing in the Warren?
Well, there's a couple of things. I was going to go and see my old friend Osna first.
Sure. Yeah. You can see that Osna is just finishing up a sale of some of his bespoke goods to a couple of deckhands from one of Bess's ships. Bess's ships aren't too frequent. I mean, don't think that there's 3 or 4 stuck at the port. There is currently 1. Normally they come up like every other week. At the moment, it's been a couple of months since the last mission, and even that is too frequent for some of them. And there's 1 in dock at the moment, and Osnar gives them both very, very flashy sidearms, and closes the sale. And once the guys go, turns to you and goes,
I didn't know if you wanted to discuss anything in particular in front of them. How can I help you?
and the Rhodian sits back in the chair, takes out a small contraption that he is puffing on like a pipe. You can't tell if it's some sort of vaping machine or some sort of maybe a hookah or bong. But there is a small blue vapor that is coming out of his mouth when he pulls it away, and he seems kind of neither intoxicated nor stimulated. You're not entirely sure what's in it.
But organics are weird.
Organics are weird, yeah. And
Exactly.
he goes,
How can I help you?
Well, do you happen to have any more of that IG-88 lying around?
he walks around to one of the many work surfaces in this. This is not a shop where there's a counter and things like that. It's mostly a workshop that people walk into. There's detritus all over the place. He walks up to one bench, pulls out what is a a large rectangular bin, almost like a laundry bin that you see in hotels, on casters. He rolls it out. It seems quite heavy, and he scoots it down the aisle to you, and there is the rest of the IG-88.
JT reaches in and picks out the legs. Do you have any other options? I am currently browsing.
He goes, "You don't want IG-88 legs. All of the good stuff's up above the waist. I'm sure I can get something for you. Let me take a look around. Have you ever thought about droidecar bottom half?"
I don't. I like the bipedal. I'll be honest.
Okay, well, always good to look for options. And let's face it, they're not that fast. That's why they have to roll around everywhere. I'm sure I can find something for you.
Yeah, something that can, I don't know, like hips and everything. Make pivoting quicker.
Sure, no problem. If you want, I can do a 360 pivot at the hips.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can do that.
Sure. Large bearings, so you can spin fast.
Yeah, and I want easy maintenance. Trying to keep it all under pressure is, yeah.
I assume you still want the compartments in the legs, and he points at the compartment where, if it was to pop open, would be your plasma shotgun.
Oh, yes, please. Sorry, is that going to cost any extra?
No, not at all. I'm pretty sure I can just transfer what I've already got there. I know what I've got. I made it after all.
But yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I'd normally come to you with a new project, but I haven't got anything particular I wanted to do this time round.
Well, don't mess with perfection. And, well, the legs are a project after all, albeit more utilitarian, but hey, we've done flashy already.
And he kind of, almost like a stylist or tailor, kind of gestures to you with a certain grandiose air to it, as if to say, don't mess with perfection. And he goes,
yes, we can do something about the legs.
And he starts to, he goes to a data pad and starts throwing together various bits and pieces. A little hollow projector pops up on his desk. Not as slick as the whole Iron Man scene of letting things out and all the rest of it. As he changes things on the data pad, because this isn't a slick. This is only a long time ago, you can see that the hologram is changing, but in a very kind of gritty way.
I'll be able to send you a list. How are things going with you all, by the way?
And he is asking mostly out of the fact that he's trying to keep good relations with you all. He doesn't seem to be probing. As he's saying it, he seems to be more engrossed with the data pad.
JT is going to ignore that and say, how long have you been a gunsmith?
Well, I started my trade in pod racing, funnily enough. And I started getting a love for flares, boosts, afterburners, call them what you will. It was only after that I realized that I could use the power that you project as a weapon, and created my first ever gun.
He puts down the data pad, walks over to a cabinet, opens it up, and with a certain amount of not reverie, what's the word? Reverence. Thank you. Reverence. Pulls out a very, very cobbled together looking gun. The front looks like a maneuvering booster from a swoop, or a pod racer, or a land speeder. Air speeder. These are normally placed at an angle towards the front of the ship, to the front of the craft, and with a sudden press of a button, you will shunt left or right very, very quickly. It's kind of useless for most normal people, but in particular sports where being able to take an insanely near impossible bend in a track, and the failing option is dying. It has its place, and they're only small because they don't need to be all that big, and they just give sudden blasts. You can see that he's got inertial stabilizers pretty much bolted along the length of it, which stops him when he presses it from flying several meters in the opposite direction. He goes, "She still works, look." There's a big slab of metal with this kind of little crater from where lots of energy weapons have hit it. And,
May I?
Ordinarily, you have a feeling he'd say no. He goes, "Sure, you're not going to break it," and then gives it to you. And
It's not a challenge.
It looks rough. It looks rough. It looks cobbled together. You have a feeling there's a kind of purity to the original design that he just doesn't want to fuck with. And I presume you fire it.
Oh, of course I do.
The flare that comes out the other end, you have a feeling is somewhere along the lines of a plasma thrower. So normally this would be a plasma flame, like an advanced version of a flamethrower. It's a kind of light purple flame with green edges, but the thing about it is that the flame is perfectly straight, as in you fire it and this hits the slab on the other side of the workshop. You have a feeling that this would probably go about 200 foot. For a flamer, that's pretty good. And as you hit it, the just a couple of seconds of this exposure to this, the slab in the center is a smoldering blue-red.
Impressive.
That bought me my freedom.
Wait.
By buying it, I killed my slaver. I had to stay here for a while until the bounty cooled off. I mean, Nala helped with the rest of it. I started outfitting her, and she managed to make it all go away. But after that, I still have enemies, even if they're not going to continue putting the bounties out there. If I was to just become a big name, for example, I would be potentially found. I'd rather not.
Would you rather not be because you'll be found, or would you rather not just be a big name?
Kind of both. I'm a big name amongst those I care about. Put it that way.
Yeah. How long ago did you start selling those weapons?
Well, I started cobbling together weapons on various vessels as I was on the run. Must be about 30 years ago now. Yeah.
Been in the business for a while.
Look at him, he's actually quite an old... you don't really think in terms of age because, it's not something that's pressing on a droid's mind. But now you look at him, you go, yeah, he's probably in his 50s.
If I wanted to find a particular buyer of particular weapons, do you know where I might start looking?
Sure, I mean, we are somewhat of a community of artisans. Because of what we do, well, put it this way, some of us are guilty of war crimes. I'm not, but some of us are. So there's a general don't ask, don't tell, more emphasis on the don't tell amongst our community. But we all know of each other by renown. Normally, conversations behind closed doors.
Have I told you much about my history?
No. Don't ask, don't tell, right?
And there's a reedy smile, like this smart-ass smile as he's very proud of twisting the line back on itself.
Well, I guess the first things first. I'm a Safari. Well, I'm an LEVO model originally. reprogrammed for Safari. You knew that much.
Yes, I think you kind of outlined that in some of the redesigns that we did. I would say you're probably not you're a bit OTT for Safari Droid now.
Well, yes, I would prefer not to be a Safari droid. And in fact, well, put it bluntly, I was abandoned. JT, it's not something I chose, it was given. I like it now, but it sounds stupid because it's a name, but it stands for jerk transport.
There's a moment of smirking from Osnan, not at you, but suddenly he puts two and two together and gets it. You know, he gets immediately the connotations of the name and goes,
Oh, so you had fun in your early service.
And one of the jerks that I transported to a planet left me, and the company, whatever they were, I don't even know if they were a corporation. I was just turned on and off as needed. I want to find the person who left me, and I want to find the person who didn't look for me.
As you say, two individuals there, whoever decided to leave you on that planet, just discard you like some idiot who doesn't know a decent droid when they see it. But also, as you say, it'll be the company itself who decided not to go back for you. Are you thinking of a little vengeance, JT?
I'm thinking of a few questions, some of which might be answered with lasers.
there's a sudden grin, and you're reminded of the Rhodians being friendly, but not having many qualms about hunting, killing. Their morals when it comes to killing,
Indeed.
are they're fairly relaxed about it all. They don't mind killing people at all. That's why so many Rhodians turn bounty hunter. And he says,
I'd be happy to help.
I
If only
prefer
just to-
this doesn't get to Nala, just in case it brings anything bad back here.
It's a personal business. Nala respects that as long as it's not going to, as you say, bring anything bad here. Nala doesn't need to know. I can promise this much. I won't tell Nala unless the Warren gets in danger, in which case I'll tell her straight away.
That's fair. That's fair.
I have a
Straight
question.
talking. I've always liked you.
How did we find JT on the planet, or did he get his way to us another way? Because I don't think we ever said that.
that's JT's decision.
I think
That's
probably,
Ed's decision.
probably, like he spent a good decade down on that planet.
Yeah.
Like he was basically feral by the time he came to you. I think he probably.
In my notes, it says that, and this is right from the beginning, Ed, but feel free to errata it, is that the others don't know the planet where you were abandoned. So,
Oh,
Well, as I said, feel free to change that if that was because
yeah, feel free to errata it. If these guys were the guys who found you, or if Nala or anybody else found you, that's up to you. I appreciate I'm asking you to flesh out a character that you originally put in going, oh yeah, it's a couple of one-shots. It's just like, oh,
Well,
God,
I mean,
now I
he-
need a backstory.
JT has grown. I think probably he managed to cobble together some kind of incredibly weak, terrible, Mayday alarm, distress beacon after 10 years of trying and moving all over the planet to find abandoned ships and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Okay, I
either
like
I guess this would be Nima. Would Nima have found that, or would
I mean,
someone else have found that and you found me from there?
I think X4 would have found the signal, and then Nima would be like, "Oh, there's someone that needs help. We'll go and get them." And then Victoria would be like, "You can't help everybody," and he was like, "Well, I can."
I'm gonna try.
I'm
was her
gonna try.
answer.
I have a feeling there would have been a bit of a kind of sigh from Victoria, and goes, okay, stay behind me. kind of thing. So yeah, okay. No, in that case, yes, you guys do know the planet that JT was originally from. So Osna goes,
Well, to find the company, I'd go back to the planet in which you were abandoned. There's going to be something there. Find any form of technology that you recognize as part of your original occupation, and bring it to me. I'll see what I can do about tracing it down. I need a lead.
Okay. I'll need a ship.
You have a ship.
I prefer not to bring the others into this
Oh,
unless I need to.
well,
They might not approve.
I can certainly
Like,
arrange
they-
transport for you all.
Nemo will
Well,
kill
for
for
you.
JT, so.
Yeah, but JT doesn't want to necessarily kill,
No.
and that's the issue.
so Osna gives you the names of a few smugglers that he himself trusts. And at this point, I'm going to go for the one prat table. Thank you, Chris from Silhouette Zero. And what have we got here?
JT is tapping his bounty hunter skills.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a basilisk called Drila. Drila. Just a smuggler. Just another regular smuggler, and yeah, she's basilisk. You can see compared to Dexter. Is it Dexter?
Yeah.
Compared to Dexter, who was a little fuller figure. Yeah, he was more cuddly. When Osnar kind of gives the description, you go, oh yeah, I remember her being in the shop once. She is kind of like a wiry frame, kind of like a Hugh Jackman kind of musculature. And when you last saw her, she had kind of feathers and beads and things like that coming down from the back of her hair. So she's kind of got long hair that she's woven a lot of stuff into. She's quite colourful. She's got quite a colourful face as well. It's the kind of bird-like face that the basilisk have. She's kind of got stripes around the eyes as well. Really startling character. Not your usual type of smuggler. Normally, your usual smugglers try to be as plain as possible. This one, you have a feeling that she doesn't even bother to try to blend in a crowd. She kind of, I don't know, just getting from your kind of hunter stalker background, you have a feeling that she just uses cover of darkness and things. Especially with a physique like that, you have a feeling that she's no stranger to climbing, maybe a bit of parkour, to get where she needs to. And by the description of her ship, it's one of these small, easily disguised jobs as well. It's very, very small. She probably smuggles very small parcels, information, and people. She's not like trying to get huge amounts of crates of spice and things like that.
Yeah. Small and stealthy.
Yeah.
Which is what JT wants.
Yeah.
Although JT is probably actually looking to buy a ship of his own, something that JT fully owns.
Well, that's where Osnar, even though he gives you the name, is a little confused because he's like, well, surely you're the best pilot that he knows, and so yeah, but there is that. I don't know if you put it in the player's notes.
I haven't actually chosen a ship yet, so.
Oh no, not the ship. There was a person that you spoke to before. She was the
Yes.
she was the dealer that got where is it? Traders.
Well, I was going to suggest a diagonal wipe to Nima and Victoria while I look in the books, because I haven't done that this week and I kept meaning to.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. Yes, Kesmes and Andar
Yes.
were the two that I was thinking of. So yeah, if you wanted to go for a ship, those would be the people that would jump to mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you say, we are going to diagonal wipe because this is Star Wars, damn it. To Nima and Victoria back at the asteroid.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I guess at the moment chilling out and just kind of having
reading through reports, messages from family members bragging about how long their braid is. You know, the usual.
the usual.
Okay, yeah. A lot of braid bragging, yeah. Who's got the longest braid? It's all braid envy. Yeah.
Braid envy.
Okay.
And for pressed on the wrong thing. I was gonna say, if for everybody, you can't really see how long Victoria's braid is in the picture because I only got the top half, but the braid is very long on Victoria.
The braid is very long, and it's actually like wrapped around her ponytail
a bit. Yeah.
In order to not touch the ground, to make it slightly more manageable. It is ridiculously long at this point.
If the what was it, Vigo Cross had got the upper hand on you, he would have cut that off.
I know.
He knows about your culture, so yeah, he would have cut that off. Yeah.
More the reason to one-shot him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just murder.
Still can't believe you killed my black son Vigo. Well, not that you killed him, but you killed him just so what's the word? Uneventfully. It was like, where is he? Oh, he's up there. I'll just go follow him. Oh, right, he's coming back to me. And that's it. I was just like, really? Really?
The dice don't lie.
Anyway.
We've built Victoria to be a murder machine, and she is.
Well, to be fair, the only thing that Victoria is really good at is combat. It's kind of useless outside of it. Not useless.
I was about to say she's not useless. She can do. Oh, hang on, gunnery. No, that's combat as well. Piloting, technically only used during combat. So the reports that you get back, there's only one thing I'll add to that, and that is that
drinking too. Good resilience.
Oh yeah, good
resilience.
Really good resilience, as we found out when I tried to poison you. Yeah, all you got was the squits. That was supposed to take someone out.
And
yes, shout out my nanites. Anyway, that was bad the first time round. I don't want to revisit it. The one thing in your reports is that the storm speakers of the Valshar have received your petition to give Bjorn Hellrender a reassessment of his honor. They are currently in discussion, long-range discussion with him, kind of through letters and things like that. He's being his usual braggadocio self. He's insulted many of them. But it seems to be going well.
Yeah.
There are no bad insults, just the regular kind.
They deal with the rest of their family all the time. They're used to it.
Yeah. So you can see that that's going on. You have a feeling that the Valshar will never fully accept him. Largely because of his successes in defiance of them. It's just not in their interest. But you have a feeling there will be a kind of non-aggression pact where he can visit family, and they will stop declaring how honourable it would be to kill him. And it would be the whole kind of, we're not approving of what you do, but we're not going to kill you if you turn. And that, as far as you're aware, is the best kind of peace treaty he could expect.
Nima will also be looking to contact half Jedi person. I keep forgetting the name of
Kyle Renford.
Kyle, about her bowl, because it actually turned out to be a lot more interesting than it actually was. Seemed to be.
So Kyle does regularly visit the Sprawl. It is part of the Force Sensitive Underground, and it's pretty much just a state of waiting. You ask Nala when he's going to be back next. she gives an amount of time. We montage the time across, and you get informed when Kyle has been spotted on the station.
Yeah. So she will ask if Victoria wants to go. She'll also contact JT if he's interested to join in on it.
We can do convenient timey-wimey stuff. So that, yeah.
I assume sourcing the ship I want will take some time anyway.
Yeah. Either way, the time will fit so that everybody's included in whatever scene they wish to be part of.
Yeah.
And you get told that Kyle is back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
let's head down.
Yeah, we'll contact him. And I will also tell Victoria to bring the bowl. Because I can't carry it.
Sure.
I got it.
So when you go to Nala's Warren to meet Kyle, when you dock, all of the enforcers on the asteroid know you well, know that you've got pretty high clearance. They are normally quite closed. They close ranks on anybody who comes in asking questions. Very tight-lipped. Normally, kind of discouraging further questions. You come in and say, "Hey, we're here to see Kyle. Where is he?" Normally, a question that they will not answer. And the single guard that is stationed in your docking bay, because you're low threat, turns around and says, "Oh yeah, he," and points you to a cantina. It's not a cantina in the bar sense. You know that most people just eat there, but they do sell alcohol. Which is this kind of moonshine stuff for the most part.
I'll bring the bowl to one of Nala's rooms where we can have a private discussion.
Sure. You know that Nala's residence is also kind of the town hall for the asteroid. And so if you take it into there, I'm sure you have it like wrapped and stuff so people don't just see it as you pass. You take it there and Nala says,
But of course you can use that room over there. I'm glad to see you so hale and hearty, Victoria.
And she kind of totters off, even though you know that she doesn't need to totter. This constant lie that she is weaker than she is. Then presumably you go and with the others to the canteen. Yeah. So you can see that you hear Kyle before you see him. And he is with this explosive bellowing laughter that you know isn't really his character. He's sharing what seem to be anecdotes or stories with a Weequay. For people who can't remember, a Weequay is one of these. So spines on the jawline, ridges, and the Weequay seems to be fairly elderly, scarred all over, has a pair of matching cruel-looking blades at his hips, next to a similarly matching set of blasters. You have a feeling a hired gun. And Kyle, if you didn't know better, you'd think he was drunk. And bellowing with laughter. But then as he sees you come in, he goes, "Oh, I could do this for hours, my friend, but my people are here. Business, you understand." The Weequay is kind of clearly inebriated, kind of nods with a smile and goes, and Kyle pulls out a credit slip, throws it on the table and says, "But I'll pay for the drinks I didn't drink, yeah?" And he goes, "That's all right, I know." And you know he's there. So, "Oh, thank you, that's very generous." Which is Huttese, by the way, that he's speaking.
Victoria instantly wants to murder him.
Oh well, no, Huttese is just a useful language in the.
It
in
is
the
a
galaxy.
very useful language.
This guy is not.
And it's
a
not
Hutt-
Victoria that wants to kill him, it's Felicia.
It's Felicia, yes.
So it's so the Huttese is spoken generally as a smuggler's language. Speaking it doesn't necessarily mean you're any way affiliated with the Hutts. Pretty much all Toydarians' first language is Huttese. And so Kyle gets up, walks over, and when he gets close to you so that others can't hear, he goes, networking. How can I help?
Well, I got something to talk to you about. And I point at like this inconspicuous bowl that
No, we left
it's
it
not
at
with
the
Oh.
Nala's.
It's at Nala's.
yeah, Nala.
We got a room where we can converse
Oh, yeah.
about it privately.
Oh yes. Otherwise, I thought we like brought it out and we had like
No.
etched into it like Nima plus Victoria on her heart or something for it to be like the wedding bowl kind of
God.
thing. But yes, we'll say that. I will say that I have something to show him, and it's back at Nala's.
Okay. Kyle adjusts his robe, and at this point, I'd like all of you do me a diff 3 perception check.
That is not my thing. That is cunning.
Is this visual based?
Yes, it is. And tell me as you know.
Diff 3, you said.
Yep.
Success
50
and threat.
sees it.
Oh,
Nah.
Victoria sees nothing. Okay.
Victoria doesn't care.
So both Nima and JT have seen it, but the threats are that Kyle has noted you noting it. There are 2 lightsabers at his hip.
two.
There are 2. One that you recognize as the one he had before, and the other one looking almost organic and curved.
It's probably not for me.
And he says, please, lead the way.
Yes,
Perfect.
we'll lead away. Nima trying to temper her expectations, but like, oh my god, it's for me. No, it's not for me. It's for me. It's not for me.
All the while sending him looks back the entire time, like,
Yeah.
so not suspicious at all.
Yes. Even though he has like tons of other Force sensitives that he knows that he probably like knows better and like more motivated to give it to.
Okay. So, yeah, you get to Nala's, and he says, "What do you have for me?"
And
We lead him into the room.
Oh, actually, before that,
he will notice.
looks-
Yeah.
he suddenly, he's suddenly kind of looking around a little, kind of spooked, but kind of chills and goes, "What is it you have to show me?"
Well, it
That
has
part
something
of
to
it.
what you just noticed.
And he looks concerned.
Anyway, as they are starting to go into the room, Victoria will basically like look around and I'm like, yeah, no one's looking.
Yep. This place is absolutely secure, even though it is the kind of town hall of the area.
Yeah.
The enforcers
Can't
don't
be
just let
too
anybody in.
vigilant at times like these.
Yeah.
Sure. You're satisfied that Nala has outlined a place where you can go where people aren't just going to pass by. And you walk in into the room, and stood there in the middle is a bowl that looks like it's made out of red volcanic rock, and it's been smoothed down. It looks very slightly porous, and he says, "Is this the source of whatever I'm feeling?"
Yeah.
Yep.
So what it does, what I figured out is its main function is that it obfuscates the force. It doesn't nullify it. It's still there. It's just it makes it so you can't sense it. It also hides you from being able to be sensed. Another thing we discovered what it did. So you remember the whole thing that happened with the Emerald Road, and how I sensed the dark side of the force in it. When I brought the bowl close to victims of the Emerald Road, a sort of liquid coalesced at the bottom of the bowl, which it then basically the force told me to burn, or well, hinted at or whatever, to burn the liquid. And by burning the liquid, these people that had this aggression, the aggression went, and we were able to treat them for the poisonous in them, not the aggression they had, which was an influence from the Sith.
He starts pacing around the bowl and goes, there are two things here. First of all, this Emerald Road stuff. That was a poison. A Sith poison.
Yeah.
My Jedi training hasn't told me much about this, but I've recently started gaining a guide who answers certain things for me. It is our current theory that a wielder of the dark side used that poison to draw out the dark side in those powerful, in many cases corrupt, or at least hedonistic characters. When it drew it out, and they started indulging and giving in to the dark side of the Force, through their own volition and taking of this substance, that it somehow fueled a master. We don't believe that it was the Empire involved, which leads me only to believe that your pursuer may be one such person.
That was what I first went to, because the person who I saw give this substance was a Sith cultist, not a proper Sith themselves.
One of the followers.
Yeah. So of course they didn't have any identifying features other than a black cloak, which is not.
He checks the door and locks it, and pulls out the two lightsabers out of his hip. One of them is, as I say, curved.
Tell me if you turn them on, Simon. I have a thing.
He's about to.
Yeah.
He pulls out both lightsabers and holds them so that when they fire, they're going to be crossed with each other.
Yeah.
His fires, and a telltale green blade fires out. The second one fires, the curved handle, and a bright purple blade fires out.
Ooh.
He holds both of them close enough together that you can hear the crackling as the two energy feeds are interacting with each other. He brings both lightsabers down to the bowl and starts using the glare of the lightsabers to look for something. And then, satisfied, points out or nods his head towards the bowl, where a small symbol, almost like it's shown up with black light, is on one corner. Well, I say it's a corner. It's a round hole on one edge of the ball. Satisfied that you've all seen it, he disengages both lightsabers and hangs them next to his belt. He says, "Yes, I now know who made this. The Genserai.
Do I know who they are?
Let's find out, shall we?"
Simon, I
Yep.
would just like to cut in. I do hope dearly that you actually researched the different meanings of lightsaber colors before you picked the purple one out of your ass.
Not only did I pick that lightsaber color specifically because I knew the meaning, but also because I know the previous bearer.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because I needed to know that fact because it's such a special color of lightsaber.
It's a very special color of lightsaber. I had to look it up because I knew I wanted a particular person's lightsaber. And so I was like, okay, now I do have to delve into the history. So I went into the Wikipedia and made sure it was correct. So unless somebody can correct me, Count Dooku's lightsaber had a curved hilt and a purple blade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah. Whether or not it would have turned red in time because he was clearly fucking Sith and it would have corrupted and would have gone red, I don't know. But in the film and in every entry of the Wikipedia where I could find his lightsaber, it was purple. So, you guys don't know, but I'll tell you as players, that's Dooku's lightsaber.
Yes. Is it lore?
No. Well, I'm trying to figure out if it was actually purple or not, because if I'm reading this right, it was red when he was a Sith.
Yeah, but it was purple first.
But it was purple before.
I'm not sure. I'll have to do more research onto that, but yeah, okay.
Okay. Because of yes, actually, I've got a picture here of him during the fight, and it was red. Yeah, it was red during the fight. Okay.
Yeah, it was red, it corrupted, but it might have turned back.
It did corrupt, but yes, apparently it was purple first, and then went red. I am willing to be corrected on that, but I'm looking for the pre-corrupted color, in particular. Yeah. And that's as close as I could get. But yeah, bear in mind, I am not a Star Wars super fan. I know enough to be able to run my own parallel canon, but it is. But yes, I do know what purple means, and to my knowledge, that's it. But yes, for your notes, Genserai is Gensaaarai. And for Nima, you have an obsession with the old Jedi Order.
Yes.
This is not the old Jedi Order, but it is as adjacent as you can get to it. So I would like you to roll either Intelligence Jedi or Intelligence Force. Knowledge Force, which for you is an intelligence roll with 1 upgrade.
Simon, according to the comics, his lightsaber was blue when he was a Jedi.
Was it blue? Oh, right, okay. In that case, I will happily errata that. Thank you. In that case, it is a blue lightsaber. It is a blue blade. I'm wondering if the pictures that I was looking at, either I'm having a touch of colorblindness or it was kind of in transition or something. Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
Because of the meaning behind purple lightsabers.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I think the Greys had a lot of purple lightsabers, didn't they? But anyway.
And there is a very good reason for that.
Yep. If you could give me a roll based on that, or I will accept other rolls if you believe that it is worth it.
Well, it's the same for like the other thing I would argue is lore, which is I'm already one. It's the same as the Force thing. So
you have a rank in Jedi due to your obsession. So the Gensarai, unfortunately, are not the most well-known part of the
keep
lore.
my intelligence too. Depends on how impossible you want to make it for me.
I'm going to call it a 3.
Okay, do I get any blues?
Yeah, I'll give you 1 blue based on the fact that you would probably have been looking into potential avenues. Yeah, go for it.
Hey!
Okay. So you know that the Gensarai were a Force Order rather than a Sith Order or a Jedi Order. The direct translation of the Gensarai are followers of the Hidden Truth. Their infrastructure was very close to the Jedi Order, very devoted order, a Force Order, but they blended together both Sith and Jedi teachings. In that, not that you've heard the term Grey Jedi, they're as close to the Grey Jedi, as close to the progenitors of the Grey Jedi that you will see after the saga as you will find. There were Grey Jedi before, but they're kind of different. The ones before and the ones after were kind of different for different reasons. They mostly had their height during the Clone Wars. That's when they really that's when they were originally made. To your knowledge, they have petered out. Yeah, and you'll know that that's a lie if you read the Wikipedia. But yeah. So as far as you're concerned,
As far as I
they were a flash in the pan. They were a Force Order that turned up in the Clone Wars, and very, very quickly just disappeared. So this bowl isn't that old. Yeah.
The Gensarai.
The Clone Wars were not that long ago.
Yeah. I mean, JT probably, he was left on the planet not
I
long.
spent my whole Clone Wars on the planet.
Yeah.
No, I was. Yeah.
Yeah. JT is older than this bowl. The bowl looks ancient. It looks like a real kind of, it looks like a really kind of, what's the word, antique piece. Looks like it, it looks almost Stone Age, and it's makes it a little too sophisticated, and it's kind of eerie and anachronous. And yeah, Carl's telling you, no, this was made in the Clone Wars.
But that means it was made in not too long ago. That's really... that's impressive, because it looks a lot older.
Well, I'm gonna take a shot and say it's religion-based mumbo-jumbo that made it look old.
Which I appreciate for Felicia. Felicia's there going, I know what did it! But she's like, gonna have to play dumb. And Kyle goes, no, this was made almost organically. This is an item that was willed into being by the Force, by Force wielders, asking the Force to shape it. Its symmetry, its perfection, very much a signature of the dark side. The fact that it's made out of effectively living material is from the light. He picks it up and says, I believe it was previously some form of coral.
Huh. How did they make it obscure the Force?
seems to be one of two functions. To obscure, but also to draw out. I wonder. He asks you all to step back, and with a gesture of his hand, attempts to levitate the bowl with the force. But then, as a glow appears in the bowl, you can see he disengages, and in the middle of this bowl is a small, swirling, beautiful blue-green energy.
It's the same kind of half liquid thing we had last time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he goes up to the bowl and says, "I'll be taking that back if you don't mind." Places his hand inside, and it peters out. This is a siphon. It is capable of withdrawing the force from places where it should not be.
So it's a sort of balance.
I doubt this would be that which brings balance to the force. But it could be part of the prophecy, who knows?
I mean, it brings balance locally, as in it drew out the dark force that was in the patients and the force power that was just exerted upon it. I haven't attempted to use any of my force powers on the ball specifically because mine is
And
not
I
really...
recommend you don't.
No.
This is meant for a very specific task. And I have a feeling is being placed into our hands and thereafter for some form of purpose. The Gensarai were not interested in good or evil or picking particular sides. They were, if anything, insufferable scholars looking for a form of perfection, I guess. They had hubris, but also good intentions. They thought they knew everything and thought that any price that they deemed worthy was worthy, but they did actually try to do things with it that would be beneficial or at least productive, I think is probably a good word. I'm not sure. Either way, the Force tells me that this needs to remain in your hands. I believe that when whatever gambit the Sith that poisoned those celebrities was around, instead of the Master drawing the power from that gambit, you stole it from them.
Yeah.
Presumably the suffering and the anguish that would have been resulting from the violent behavior of these people as they got consumed by the dark side of the Force would feed the Master. You cut him short of getting his full feast. I'm sure some would have happened with every death, with every sorrow, with every mania. But from the numbers that you've given me, I'm sure he fell very short of his target.
Yes, we got there as quickly as we could, but of course he was able to feed off the negative force that was exerted while... But did he intend to keep them alive? What was his intention?
To sow discord. We were taught before my education came to an end that fear and suffering leads to anger and hate. The anger and the hate doesn't have to be for others. In fact, the one that festers most of all, the one that's harder to negotiate and to even spot in the first place, is the hate that one may have for oneself. the anger that someone would have for their own weakness. In that, the dark side of the Force is self-perpetuating. It feeds upon itself, like a snake eating its own tail. It destroys itself as it perpetuates its existence, and destroys everything that is within it. The Sith, and those who follow the dark side of the Force, revel in their own mortality. Even those who practice a form of immortality and longevity, they revel in their impermanence on this planet, in this existence. The Jedi see it as a guiding gift. We look at it more of being grateful for what we have. The Sith see it as a great competition of power. To die last, to show yourself so strong and so capable, and to resist the mortality all around you. It's the suffering that they wanted. But not only that, this was suffering that was going to echo throughout the galaxy. They picked people who were known, people who were loved. Those that have been reported as dead. The suffering would have echoed throughout the galaxy as the various media networks and so on would have heard. What we need is hope right now. We need to turn that sorrow and that fear that no one, even the most influential of us, isn't safe. We need to turn that into hope. We'll have to put our heads together and see if there's something we can do. Something that would have as much resonance throughout the galaxy.
I mean,
we would have fed from that as well. The Master would have fed from that as well.
Yeah. I mean, we had the Death Star blow up last year, so that was a good thing.
That icon of tyranny would only have served a specific fear, a type of ego that only the most manipulative man in the galaxy could achieve. I'm sure that Sidious drank deeply from the well that day. Until, of course, it was destroyed. I'm sure that left him feeling parched, hungry. Certainly he has been showing us his hunger since.
Not before they could destroy entirety of Alderaan, though. Anyway.
It's bittersweet, the type of defeat that the Sith enjoy most. For us, I intend to produce a new hope. As I send the Force sensitives out to the fringes of the galaxy to become capable, not just in the use of the Force, but as a clandestine culture, able to return back into the center of the galaxy and survive and help others and live in the shadows for when they are needed the most.
Yes.
Those who are not capable, we will find places where they can live in peace and exhibit that hope.
Yes.
You have an interesting game piece here. And he kind of taps the rim of the bowl, almost like patting a dog on the head.
Mm.
Gives it one final look and says, I'm not supposed to be around that. Or at least that's not part of my journey.
Mm.
But I'm happy to help you with any theories that you may have about it. It belongs to you.
Thank you. I mean, it would help if I could actually carry it, but I got someone who can carry it for me.
He nods knowingly and says, I'm sure the Force knew that you would have a strong pair of hands.
I smile at Victoria. Yes, thank you. It was very interesting to get your insight on this, because at first I thought it was just a pure obfuscator, but apparently it has a lot more uses than that.
That feature alone is impressive. Normally the one thing that is a equal playing field is how the Force works. Each of us, Jedi, Sith, sensitive, even a regular person who connects just by living their life with the Force, is like blips on a radar screen, of different colours and different sizes. And ordinarily, if I wanted to find a Sith, or a Sith wanted to find me, they'd just have to follow that blip. I have been able to keep my manipulations of the Force down to a minimum. I use no more than a regular Force user, a regular Force sensitive, although I know I am capable of much more. I'll never be given the title Jedi Knight, but I am capable of playing my part, and I intend to. I do feel every now and again the Emperor, the Lord, others further away looking at me when I have exhibited some of the Force. But I believe that I am too small, too ineffectual for them to feel threatened.
Do you mind me asking, where did you get the second lightsaber?
He pulls back his robe, and it appears in the, and it flies to his hand and goes, "The Force drew me to it. I don't know why." And once again, almost as if the DM is showing you something, he fires it up again. And it is a perfect blue blade. I believe this needs to go somewhere else. He hooks it back onto his belt and says, "The Force will guide."
Very much so.
And out of character, no, you are not getting Dooku's lightsaber.
Can I have it? Please. Thank you.
Less.
Please.
I was playing around with a Force and Destiny campaign concept the other day, and I was like, what do I want to have done? And I like the idea of we've talked before about how crystals can be corrupted, but they can actually be turned back the other way. It's incredibly rare. Them going corrupted is very common with every Sith. It gets corrupted, but them going back, you'd be lucky if 1 in 100 gets turned back.
Yes, the most famous case is Ashoka. Yeah.
But apparently, Dooku didn't do it because he dead. But somebody or something has purified. Well, as a player, because the character doesn't know who's there.
Right, I was just like, oh, it's cool lightsaber.
As a player, yes, you know that Dooku's lightsaber has been purified. And it gave me a chance to point out for anybody who was like me and didn't know a great deal about Star Wars until I started the damn campaign.
Very smart.
That you can purify lightsabers.
Yes,
and as we touched on the topic earlier, I might as well clarify the significance of purple lightsabers. Mm-hmm. It is because the only users who can reliably use a purple lightsaber is those that are connected both to the light and the dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
Most commonly are the users are Sith that are turned into Jedis or the other way around.
Yeah.
But that is much rarer because, corruption and turning red. Yeah. There is, in canon, one proper Jedi Master, like in the official canon as Disney wants it, that uses a purple lightsaber, but in the extended universe there are several more, obviously.
Because the only one in the Disney canon is Mace Windu, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Which the only reason I know, not the only reason I know about that, but the best thing I know about that is that when they said he had a purple lightsaber, they had to explain to him why it was badass, and he was just like, hell yeah, and he was so happy.
Oh yeah.
And he actually was a Star Wars nut. He actually did know a lot about it. And when they said, they kind of assumed that because he was a bit of a Star Wars nut that he knew the significance.
But no, he just wanted
explained it to him, and he was like, "Oh hell yeah!" And he was really pleased after.
I mean, he just wanted a purple lightsaber for no other reason that it was purple. But
exactly. But yeah, in the extended universe, General Organa and Han Solo had 2 children, and both of them used purple lightsabers.
But the extended universe is wild.
It is wild, and I love it.
You need to do as much research as you need for a degree or a PhD to know it all, though. I've spoken to members of the 501st where I'm just like, how long did it take you to learn all of this stuff? And he was just like, yeah, it was my every waking thought at one point, and I was like, yeah, wow, okay. So yeah. So as I say, there is on the Wikipedia what is currently happening to the Jedi in current timeline, as in the Vader timeline. So it does
the white one. The white kyber crystals were only used by Imperial Knights.
Yeah.
Right, because the lightsabers that Ashoka purified turned white. So I think that's the question.
Yeah.
It
depends a little bit, because the thing is that the Imperial Knights used the white lightsabers, but then they also added that her purified turned it to white. But I think that it's a bit of a question between, does it turn white, does it turn blue, does it turn green,
Yeah. I mean, it
turns into a light color.
Yeah. My favorite color is the kind of the yellow gold
orange.
lightsabers you get.
That one is really nice.
Yeah.
I've always been partial to the lightsabers with a black core.
Of course, Felicia.
Yes,
this surprises absolutely no one.
I've never seen one. So is it
Really?
like it has a black core and then a color on the outside?
I think it's in Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah. In the Star Wars: The Old Republic, you have those. You also have them in the extended universe. So basically, instead of white, it is black and then has a color around it. So theoretically, you can have a black lightsaber with pink light, and that is so my aesthetic. That is unbelievable.
As somebody who on No Man's Sky has recently made a black with pink highlights dreadnought, I can absolutely agree. Who would have thought it? Some Star Wars lore in a Star Wars game.
Who would
we
have
haven't
thought?
done a huge amount of this before. No.
I only go off on tangents occasionally.
So the and Hermit's weighed in as well.
Yeah.
Whoa, wow. Here
Crystals
we go.
lack color before they're so crystals lack color before they're chosen by the Jedi. Most likely to become blue or green, though other shades creating summons, and most notably Mace Windu purple blade, and the yellow blades of the Temple Jedi Temple Guards, the black Darksaber, and Ashoka's Tana's white lightsaber.
Yeah, it's the Temple Guard ones that I looked at it and I was like, okay, in love. So
yes,
and there is the entirely black ones, the Darksaber, as it is called. Oh yeah, you mentioned that one, yeah.
Yeah, this is from the wiki, but yes, I assume. And then he says, I assume purified kyber crystals does the same, as in they will turn to whatever color the Jedi or the Force sensitive is. Well, it would be Jedi.
So this is the point where it deviates from you don't get any support as a DM beyond this. It's like, they did start choosing the colors and then made the stuff up around the colors once they had chosen them.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like, oh, we better make this make sense. Because I've never done that before, ever, in any campaign.
I've not thought of a cool thing like, how do I explain this?
The whole kind of what happens when you purify it, it's like we don't have many data points to be able to say, so I will be taking artistic license on this, so do apologize if there's any deviation from that, but it is a parallel canon. Yeah, and the sudden realization, it's like, I'm running a Star Wars game, and the viewers and the players probably know more than I do.
Well,
I didn't watch
at least
Clone Wars,
one
I didn't
or
watch
two
any of
players
that.
know more than you.
Yeah, I haven't watched the cartoons. I've only watched like a couple of the cartoons, and the problem is that there's a lot of stuff in there that's actually good.
Rebels is really fucking good because it gives you that nuanced view of it all.
Yeah.
Because
And I
it's
wanna watch it
not
for
just
Chopper.
black and
Yeah.
white.
Yeah,
I mean,
I want to watch it for Chopper as well.
Yeah, of course there's Clone Wars, but I think probably best to go in at slightly later seasons than Clone Wars, because the first seasons are very just like kids
They're
cartoon.
They're very cutesy and very kind of two-dimensional.
Yeah.
It's almost like they made them for kids.
Yeah.
Still enjoying it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I need to watch a few more because we have Disney Plus now, so I can binge that shit.
Yes.
Anyway, we are going to take a 10-minute break, but I'm kind of glad that we had a little bit of a breakup. This session's called Reflections, so that we can kind of paint in between some of the lines. So I'm happy to kind of go in and out of character with regard to this and talk about various bits. So we've got plot exposition for JT as to some of the things that he's going to be doing. I know more about that from previous conversations that I've had with Ed, but we will do whatever we need on that. We have taken the ball to Kyle, and he has already given you some of the details as well. So over the 10-minute break, give a thought as to what you would like to poke and prod and all the rest of it. We're not gonna kind of do the fine details of traveling to certain places. We will use the power of the diagonal wipe to go all sorts of places, to go and revisit places, to go and revisit people, to go and do whatever you want to do. So give some thought to that, and we will be back after the break.
Yes. See you very soon, guys.
See you 10 minutes time. and welcome back. When we left off, we had a little bit of Star Wars fandom chat, which I think we need to have a bit of that every now and again. Just reflect on some of the details of the Star Wars universe and where I'm probably deviating from it. And we were talking about lightsaber colors and the types of significances they have. In the scene that I did, you had 2 blue lightsabers, as it turns out. And that was the blue lightsaber from Carl Renford, your guide, partially trained Jedi, and as far as you're aware, head of the Force Underground. Then the other lightsaber, I've told you out of character, is Count Dooku's restored lightsaber. So the crystal has gone back from red to blue. I thought it was purple, but apparently I've gone colorblind or something, because looking at the some of the pictures now, it's quite clearly blue. Yeah. So, what would you guys like to do? Assuming that you're finished with Kyle and the Bowl.
Yeah, we're finished with that, so I will at least... was JT with us, or was he doing his own thing?
JT was with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing his stand in the corner, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Still taking it all in.
Well, yeah, as JT, well, as a droid, the Force is just completely, like, a non-entity.
Yeah. This is a thing that JT will very happily help you with. He doesn't need to understand it to help you with it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did just ask what his thoughts are about it, and as well as what Victoria's thoughts are about it, like, once they're, like, on their own, and just like, well, what do you think?
Does one need the Force in order to use a light sword?
Lightsaber, darling. Technically, I think... Yes? No?
No.
No. Technically, no. But,
Can it be made bigger? Because that is a small sword. I need a bigger sword.
No.
So, my understanding, again, willing to be corrected, anyone can pick up a lightsaber and start swinging it round.
Yeah.
They're probably going to get punished by themselves for doing such a stupid thing.
Yeah.
But yes, they can.
Yeah.
If they keep their limbs long enough to figure out how to swing a sword around, a light sword around without chopping anything off, they can gain a skill in the same way that you can gain anything else. I would say it's probably like a finesse weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a sunblade in D&D. No one's trained in it, but eventually you could learn. You are not allowed to use the melee skill. This is the part where I can actually bring the thing in. You're not allowed to use the melee skill. Lightsaber skill for a mundane, for a non-Jedi, and that includes Force sensitives, must be based on either brawn or agility. Cannot be based on anything else.
Yeah.
For a Jedi, they can base it off weird stats. They can base it off cunning, intelligence. For the intelligence-based Jedi sword wielder, they mostly put the blade where it needs to go. It's how they don't actually have any dexterous ability. They just trust so completely in the Force and so in tune with the Force that they just allow the Force to move their hand, which is why Jedis are allowed to use any stat to use as the base of their skill.
Which is cheating, because I have to use agility, which is only 2.
Yeah. But for anyone who is not a Jedi, not a fully trained Jedi, able to use the Force to that extent, it is either your brawn or your agility.
I'll tell you what, though, my favourite thing about this system is if you can get your skills above your characteristics, you do get more dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
He
you
is,
do.
now a little more intelligent in the underworld, even though his intellect is 1. He's got 2 dice, which is exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then, well, I am moving towards the dedication on this tree. Just down here, I need 2 25s, and I can now get another dedication, which is probably going into agility, so I'm slightly...
Just buy them. Just replace your limbs. Buy
Yeah.
points.
So there are two precedents in this. So you obviously have General Grievous in the game, in the movies. In this game, in the Genesis game, the starter game, which I played in the Abingdon Guild of Adventurers once.
Yeah, I played it.
I actually played he was badass. A Trandoshan with one cybernetic arm who wielded a lightsaber in his cybernetic arm. Presumably, he lost the arm by learning the lightsaber. And
I thought he was a
that was it. It's like
Monkey.
I killed a dude, and in the course of the starting adventure, I killed another Sith. So I was just like, I've got two of the buggers
I mean,
now.
the starting adventure is kind of weird because like everybody has lightsabers. It's like they are super rare. Why are they like 5 of them in the starting adventure?
Yeah.
Because
But
they
it
want
does-
people to buy the
Exactly.
rule book.
Yeah. When you end up and bear in mind that's for all 3 of them. So that could have been Force and Destiny because it's just one starting adventure for the general Star Wars thing. Edge of the Empire, very very different. So yeah, if you can get your hands on a lightsaber, you can wield it with either brawn or agility, your choice, as you learn to either kind of use your dexterity to not chop your arms off, or you just use your what is the baseline for your melee, and you kind of learn it kind of kata style instead.
Either way, I was not serious about Victoria getting a lightsaber. She's more being indulgent, like, okay, can you get it bigger?
Yeah, no,
So that
that's.
it's a real sword.
And Victoria
not-
says, and Nima said, not unless you build. I don't think so.
And Nima will have known, just as part of it, that wielding a lightsaber, easy. Building one, you need a Jedi for that.
Yeah, or at least you need someone with the Force to
Or
do.
somebody who is Force sensitive enough to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm all for building your armory.
Well, thank you, JT. No.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be that hard if people figured it out millennia ago.
It's a very intricate process. Any information that I found on it, it's very, very rare, and it's very easy to get wrong. And and the biggest problem, like getting the mechanical parts, fine. It's about getting the kyber crystals. The Empire has such monopoly and control of the kyber crystals. Any like temple that is known, that is still has kyber crystals in them is being mined by the Empire.
So we break in and steal some.
I
I mean,
no.
it can't be that hard to murderize an entire mining operation.
These things are incredibly well guarded, more guarded than any other place we've been in.
So the state gambit wouldn't work.
No.
We could potentially blow up the entire base and then dig down ourselves.
We don't have that amount of firepower, and an
But we have
attacker
the
like
money
that,
to
we would
buy
be
that
hunted.
amount of firepower.
And
I'm also about to say that'll take a capital ship. At which point you go, well, we can afford a capital ship.
But even if we manage to do the attack, the instant they realize that we would be hunted across the galaxy. Like, there is no
But
way.
that would require survivors to tell that it was us.
We're not killing entire mining operations, which is probably like slaves being like mining these things.
Do you think the Sith, who we've caught the attention of, has one?
Probably,
I mean,
yeah.
if they called himself a Darth, I would assume so.
JT's
Oh wait,
just
no,
shrugs.
Victoria wouldn't know that.
No.
Sorry.
No, Victoria's. Nima says it. Yeah, he calls himself a Darth.
She.
Yeah. So
I
she.
think.
No, she. Him. Person.
You've heard him so far.
Yeah. He,
Okay.
He. If he calls himself.
Yes, the Sith make synthetic crystals nowadays because the kyber crystals in the entire galaxy are running out quickly.
Because they're mining
So
them
the-
all.
Exactly. They've been mining them all to use in their super weapons.
Yes.
So, and they
I
have
was about to
figured
say
out
that-
that while these synthetic crystals break quicker, they are very much more offensively strong than regular crystals. So as long as they can make more than they use up, then they're fine.
Yeah, and they would use that.
Yeah. Currently in the Yavin system, there is a gold rush, except it's not gold. The whole of Yavin is being scoured by ships that have got ram scoops on the front of them, and this is canon. I know this very, very well. They've got ram scoops on the front of them, and there's a big Imperial station in the Yavin system where they will pay through the nose for anything that shows any sign of even dust from kyber crystals. Based on the percentage that they can see, they scan it, and based on the amount that you've given them and the percentage that they believe it is, they'll process it themselves. They will pay you, and pay well. The Yavin system at the moment is crawling with people like that. And parallel canon to the parallel canon, in Silhouette Zero, Conclick Kachut, the little Chadrafan that Matt and Chris play, they did a bit there where they went and they did some scooping, just to be part of that part of the history.
Yes.
But Chris knows a lot more about the history than I do, so yeah. Okay.
Yes, he would have a lightsaber, I would assume. So potentially, if we have the unfortunate thing of meeting him and having to defeat him, we could take his lightsaber.
Well, I mean, I can hold 3 or 4 thermal detonators at once.
Yes.
Pum pum pum.
And I mean, even if he has a light sword, he needs to be faster than me.
Lightsaber.
Survive.
I love from the start that, as again, Felicia is a big fan. She knows all the correct terms, and immediately she's like, "Yeah, the Valashar get it wrong all the time."
It's light sword.
Like when you said to Bjorn, they were like, "Sith," he goes, "Oh yeah, those religious guys, dribbly candles," and that's all he knows.
Yeah.
Because they are from the edge of the galaxy. So yeah.
The edge of the galaxy, and their culture has been more aligned with shamanism and all
They
of
were like,
the
the fall of the
Nordic myths.
Jedi was only 20 years ago. It's not a
And-
long time.
Yeah, but they don't go into the center of the galaxy. They pick fights in the local area, and they don't get much further than that. These guys are from wild space.
And the Imperials did a very good job of
Yeah.
hiding everything and cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've heard of them, but they just don't know much about them.
Yeah.
They use swords made of light, and they have weird things happen.
And any Force user that appeared in the Valashar, basically they were just heroes.
Yeah.
And
They're
clearly
stronger,
they were.
faster, and quicker than others, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, they
And if they were
can
able to
jump
throw
really
lightning,
high for some reason.
Clearly, yeah, if they were able to throw lightning, then clearly the storm spirits had favored them. The same with
Yeah.
pulling things and pushing things. That's clearly a wind spirit. I mean, come on, get with it. Yeah.
It is great.
You can explain everything with because religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have weird religion in the core worlds. Who cares? Everyone has religion.
Anyway, what else would you like to have a poke or a prod at in the story?
Well, that was pretty much it for that. So if we want to head back to JT a little bit, well,
Yeah. Let's head
Okay.
back to JT so he gets some more screen time.
I think
So-
JT's probably sent forward some ideas of the kind of ship he would like.
Sure.
He needs something that can hold prisoners,
Mhm.
and something that is fast, and something that can be cloaked.
You have 2 people in front of you. One of them is Kesmes, the Marillion ship parts trader that helped you that you first went to try and get hold of Chevron's V-wing. She just recognized you when you came in, but it's Andar that you are going to see, Toydarian, and he is pretty much the only ship vendor there. He is a shameless, cut and shut, only 40,000 light years on the clock kind of wheeler dealer. Most of the ships are stolen, and he ends up having to fake all the salvage paperwork to say, oh yeah, and submit that to boss to say, yep, it was stolen, but it isn't anymore. Right of salvage and all that shit. And so he smooths all of that over so he can shift particular things. This is how most ships in the Sprawl have come into the Sprawl.
Ours is, of course, a perfectly legal salvage.
Yes, of course. And you have a feeling that Andar's business associates also kind of find these formerly stolen ships, and if they can't find them, they will make them stolen ships that are soon to be formerly stolen ships to order. Depends on if you don't mind being on a waiting list.
Yeah.
You go up and Andar has got this scratchy beard, that kind of goes down onto his rotund little gas-filled belly, which is part of his buoyancy. And as you start saying what you want in a ship, he goes, bounty hunter ship, huh? Well, there's only really one ship that you really want if you want to be going down into that business.
And that would be?
He turns with a flourish and goes, the fire spray, of course. And there is a rust-covered, shitty, elephantine-looking mess in front of you. He goes, straight off the, recently salvaged. You can see that there's quite clearly a line of blaster fire along one of the flanks. He goes, could do it up to for maybe a week.
Can you make it 4 days?
That'll cost ya. Hey, didn't you buy those pet droids before?
Yeah, I did.
Get them to come and help out Olandar, and yeah. Their dab hand at welding. Maybe even see if your little astro droid friend is happy to come and lend a hand.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do that.
You have a feeling that he's just said, oh, he wants extra money, but then he's like, oh, and also give me free labor.
Yeah, I mean, JT doesn't really care about money or labor, so.
And you can see that he's there now, kind of nodding along, satisfied, as if to say, yeah, just made a great deal. Very self-aggrandizing.
Yeah, and basically JT blanks him and turns to Kesmes.
And Kez goes, are you sure that thing's even gonna fly? At which point Andar goes, of course it'll fly, I'll make it fly. And she goes, okay, is there anything in particular you wanted on it?
You got me the high output ion turbines for our other ship before.
Yeah.
Those are fairly easy to get.
Depends what I can rip up to get it.
And something that may not be as easy. He'll basically send to whatever pad she's got rumours about a pseudo cloaking device. Special modifications, page 69.
She goes, oh, buddy, that's... and Kesmes, by the way, is, to remind people, is Marillion.
Mirialan.
Mirialan. Damn it, I will always get that wrong.
Me.
She's a minimini. So she's there saying, babe, that's highbrow stuff, man. I mean,
This
I'd
I
have to-
don't need soon. This I just want for later.
even then, I mean, I'd have to. Well, next mission you've got going to any high-tech world. How about I give you a pit stop to go and pick some of the stuff up I need? I
Yeah.
mean, it should be a quick rob job. I mean, she just calls it as it is. This is quick. It's just a quick rob job. I mean, as long as I can find some of the materials for you, break in, grab it, take it off Alliance, Empire, whoever's in your bad books, and bring it back. I mean, you could buy it, I guess, off the Naboo. Assuming that the Naboo, assuming that you can get in and out without the Empire completely trashing you, man. I mean, have you heard about that place? That used to be a choice place to go. It used to be a cool place to go, and now that's blockaded to hell.
I think some of my clients were from Naboo. Yeah, posh.
That could be it.
I didn't treat them too badly. Well,
do you think you remember them? You could probably get X4 to see if he could rifle around and restore some data to see if one of your Naboo contacts could be restored.
well, yeah, we'll give that a try. If you can just point us in directions, that's useful.
So she gives you a short list. I'm not going to go through all the specifics, but she gives you a particular Naboo shipyard. They are responsible for the Nubian. Yeah, beautiful silver ships.
Oh yes.
She goes, the coating technology they use on there in itself is a shielding. I can repurpose that.
Yeah.
I mean, a cloaked fire spray? I think that's everybody's brown trousers dream. Not being able to see them coming. But yeah, I'm down. I mean, I'd have to resurface the entire thing. It's not a component that you just strap in and plug in, but I'd have to resurface the whole thing, including the glass actually.
This is a long-term project, so time is not an issue.
Hey, I'm down. I'm not running anywhere. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, you get me the reagents. I'm down.
Good. We'll turn back to land. Just very droid, like, I'm done now. Move.
Yeah. And for the iron turbines, she'll be able to rip some up for you. And it's basically just finding the ship that can be trashed to give it. Find the donor ship is mostly what she'd be looking at.
Yeah.
You have a feeling for lower level characters, a blip has appeared on the mission board, and they're kind of like, yeah, we could do that.
Oh, and can we make the hyperdrive better?
In what way?
I believe the fire spray has class 2 or class 3 hyperdrive. Can we bring that down?
I guess I'll take a look. Man,
In the
you're
core
really going
rulebook.
all out. Yeah, sure. And
How
you're
much
speaking
money
to
is
the right
spending on
person.
this?
Andar basically is restore it to the point where it takes off, and then
Yep.
he's done. He knows enough to not piss you off enough that you'll come back and kill him.
Yes.
Kez is about doing interesting shit.
Yeah,
have a
essentially
feeling she's-
JT...
A little bit kind of almost on the spectrum. Twitchy.
Yeah.
Very twitchy.
Essentially, JT wants it to, like, first of all, soon work good enough to go and get some stuff for Osnar to help out, and from then he will build it up for whatever the next step is.
Okay. Yes, no problem. I'll number crunch that later because obviously
Yeah,
none
yeah.
of this is prepared. But
We know we can afford it.
Okay. So, Kez and Andar clearly have a project where they're going to have to work together again. As much as they bicker constantly, you have a feeling that this happens a lot because she ship parts, he ships. They work together. But as you're leaving, they're bickering already. He's there going,
he's saying, what's the point in me painting it if you're going to resurface it anyway? You may as well paint it yourself. At which point she goes, he wants to be able to use it before we resurface it. Well, he can use it as it is. What's wrong with that? She goes, there's holes in the side of the ship, and that's as far as you can hear before you leave.
I will just call back, droid.
So yeah, so we will put together a stats for a fire spray. So yeah, you're fetting it up.
I presume, if we don't mind skipping 4 days, that JT's just going to fly it into the asteroid where everyone can see it, essentially.
Yeah.
JT just turns up one day.
It's been painted blue with dark yellow highlight, so like a mustard yellow highlight. Breaks up the silhouette just enough so that in.
Why are you making a very Swedish-looking ship, Simon?
Well, it's not the bright yellow of the Swedish colours. It's a dark blue and a mustard. So the yellow is almost brown. So it isn't quite there. But I have a Swedish ship in Norman's Sky. So you pilot it in. The engine is all right. Kez hasn't managed to modify the hyperdrive yet, but she's stopped it from like blowing a gasket.
It'll hold out for one trip.
Yeah. It's at base level at this point. Yeah. So yeah, you watch as this the loading bay into the not the loading bay, the landing bay in the asteroid, little tight now. You've got a V-wing, you've got the Lakota, which is the biggest ship there, and then this fire spray backs in because it's a T shape. So you can't put it in the front. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about the foils, and you just watch as it turns around and backs into the the landing bay.
There is.
I believe the fire spray is also silhouette 4.
Like I say, the ship that you would like the ships to be side by side, they're not. In like the in the rectangle, they're like that. So yeah, you're kind of top and tailing it.
Yeah,
just about fits. At which point X4 goes. Oh, I can't whistle.
Wait! I have a soundboard. I have a soundboard for this.
Oh.
Where is he? There, Astrodoid.
Thank you very much. So yeah, cool. You hear a series of tubes and whistles, and X4 goes, looks like we're going to be hollowing this out a bit larger, lads, and is saying that to the pit droids. And the pit droids are just as they kind of, happily kind of chirping along. Actually, the V-wing is not there.
No, the V-wing is not there. Good point.
It's not there because it's with Chef.
However,
but all the same,
the new swoop and the Panther and
all
V-35 are all there as well.
Yeah. You've got the whole Thunderbird 2 conveyor belt thing going on. You've got a few vehicles in there now. It's starting to get a bit cramped.
Yeah, I'm eyeing up the swoop, seeing if I could fit it in the
skip ray.
Spray.
Sorry, not skip ray. I told you I'd get those confused. In the fire spray, I think you can. I think there's enough cargo space that you can fit the swoop.
Question, JT. If you plan on flying that ship, who's gonna fly Lakota?
Oh, this is for errands.
Okay.
And X4 says, we've got more pilots than JT.
Yes, but...
This is a ship for a particular purpose. I will probably be getting rid of it once the purpose has been fulfilled.
Right, what is
It's
that?
a burner.
Do you want to tell us what this purpose is?
Do you want to know, or would you like plausible deniability?
Oh, please. As if we've ever had plausible deniability.
Yes, we would like to know.
I'm going to find the people who abandoned me on the planet and I'm going to abandon them on the planet.
Ooh.
Now that sounds like an adventure. I'm all for this. Vengeance is something I do know how to do. Let's do it. Where are we going?
Okay, you're in.
I love the fact that JT's talking about in the future when Victoria's there like, I'll just get my bag.
Do you know where they
Oh,
do we need to
on this asteroid
Yes.
for too long? I need to fight something.
Yes, of course, darling. We are gonna go with JT. But do we need to do some research? Do we need to find these people? Have you already found them? Do we?
I'm working on it. I will need to return to the planet. And that's why I've got this here now. It will be better later. But for the maiden voyage, this is fine. I haven't chosen a name yet. I'll need to decide on a name.
I mean, if we're all going, we can take the Lakota. But can we all fit in that one, or is it too small?
I don't want the Lakota linked to this at all.
Okay. How many people fit in the ship, Simon?
You can have 2 guards, and there are 6 prisoners.
Okay, so we can fit. We can be in
Yeah.
the prisoner.
Yeah, you'll have to live in cells for a bit.
Yeah.
No, if you're fine, because you're 2 guards.
Yeah.
And
2 guards and a pilot.
yeah, X4 can...
I assume there's an astromech slot that's not counted.
X4 does not take up a person. Yeah, because astromechs can just plug themselves in a corner. So using a planet name generator, the planet on which you were ditched is Vugantu. So let me put that in the chat.
Is it a civilized planet at all, or is it just an overgrown jungle? It must be an overgrown jungle.
It's just an overgrown jungle. It's a safari planet.
Oh yes, well, I remember where it was, if you need coordinates to it. Or X4 remembers it too.
Yeah, that would be useful. My memory is spotty.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we will need to steal some things from Naboo at some point.
What do we need from Naboo?
I wanted a cloaking device.
Ah! I mean, if you think that it's necessary, then we can buy some because we have the money for it.
If we can find someone who's selling.
Yeah. I might be able to convince someone to part with their wares.
It's not just Naboo. There are other places that you'll be able to get this material, but for the other places, you'll probably have to steal it. The only place you'll probably be able to buy it is Naboo.
Yeah. I should probably be able to convince them to think that we are very, very honorable customers.
Well, first things first, I was planning on leaving for Vagantu today, if you're...
Yeah, we're not
happy
doing
with-
anything. Victoria needs to punch something, so...
There's
Well, I mean-
unlikely to be much other than wildlife there, so it shouldn't be too dangerous.
I mean, you say that, but last time we were in a place with lots of wildlife, there was many bitey things.
True, but I shouldn't
And
revert
one
again.
crazy person.
I've got better since then.
Yes.
True, you have.
We all have. So, yeah. I mean, Chevron's off doing his thing with trying to get his club up and running, which I think still is a terrible idea, but he wants to do that, so whatever. So, let's go.
Okay.
Let the boy have his pastime. At least he's not causing trouble when he's being busy trying to be a businessman.
As you're there saying, try not to cause trouble, for the pit droids, bring your sword. Almost like a ceremonial procession.
And this is why you four are my favorite.
Rather than doing our usual sprawl type stuff, we are going to use the power of the diagonal wipe and this blue and mustard coloured fire spray roars out of hyperspace and in front of you is a verdant and overgrown planet.
Quickly, Simon, should we just roll Destiny really quickly? Because it might be...
or you may need it, yeah. So let's do that. And we will do this. This will be the pool for the whole of Remembrance. So, sorry,
good start.
Reflection.
Oh, yes. Roll Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
lovely.
great start.
Go for it. Love it.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
what we want.
This
This
is
is
exactly
gonna
what we
go
want.
well. So, yeah, and
All the power to the DM.
you can see that the planet, even the seas, seem to have this kind of green tinge to them, almost like the seas are overgrown with seaweed and algae and things like that. You do recall, JT, that there was these floating globules, almost like floating atolls in the sea, that were kind of like a form of pondweed, but for the sea. Yeah, so, and there would be whole islands of this stuff. You do recall of a pilot, one of the supply pilots that landed, trying to get his bearings on what he thought was an island, only to misbalance what is a plant-based iceberg, and as he landed, the thing just started yawing off to the side. Thankfully, he managed to take off in time before his ship got completely submerged. You know very well that you'll probably have to blast a circle to land the ship. It is that overgrown. First thing that I would like is let's have a roll for sensor use. And I haven't got the stats of the fire spray up. So let me just quickly do that. Because I didn't know before this session that...
Sorry, yeah.
But no, that's fine.
Page 225.
225.
Sorry, 255.
255. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Sensor range of short.
Thank you, Hermit. See, someone loves us.
Yeah, someone likes us.
Did he just flip a
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. It was for the interesting kyber crystal discussion before the break.
Oh. Right, so fire spray.
You have our eternal
something
gratitude.
short, no extras. Okay. So, normally X4 would do the sensor roll. Are you happy with that, or do you want to? Does anybody else want to be dropping in on that?
No, do it. Like, if it's intelligence based, please let him do it.
Sure.
Not me.
Yeah, and this isn't like a ship where you've got multiple like stations. This is basically all on the pilot and whatever astromech you've got.
Yeah.
So even though the any structures on the planet have long since been consumed by the foliage, you can see that X4 overclocking a little bit as he has to go through everything on high def, and wants to do it quickly. He seems to, he's got a bit of an ego. Suddenly, a series of cheeps and whistles, and in your various comm setups, visor, internal circuit, and for Nima, she just absentmindedly looks at her wrist.
Well, I do have my thing now. I do have a thing.
Oh yeah, so two visors, so you all see it in your HUD.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys really are tricked out. So in all of your HUDs, you can see that X4 says "got it."
Yeah. And you land.
He's found the only man-made structure on the planet. That's a diff 4 feet.
I can't remember if there was a shame den on this one as we're landing.
Yeah. You can see that you can see where the previous landing pad was, and a couple of blasts from the skip rays auto blasters manages
Fire
to
spray.
level fire sprays auto blasters. Which are on the tail of the fire spray. Levels the playing field. You're still going to be landing on basically a smouldering mass of foliage, but it's enough. It's leveled enough for you to open it up. And with the, let me just check. Oh, it hasn't got much of an encumbrance. The swoop is the only thing you'd be able to put in there. You wouldn't be able to put the panther in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which means one of you has a form of transport.
The rest are walking.
I wasn't expecting anyone to come along with me.
You could probably
we love
give.
you.
You could probably give one of them a backy, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Victoria can
Well,
run. It's
how-
fine.
Yeah, how close are we to the structure?
You're at the landing pad, so probably about half a football field away.
Okay, yeah.
You remember that there was like a kind of a muster point here, and you can see in amongst some of the foliage there's some kind of cargo containers and things like that that were just abandoned.
Yeah. So I will, on the way, I've kind of briefed everyone and said, we're looking for anything identifying databanks would be perfect, but otherwise, literally anything with a logo on. Anything that can be traced.
So, in order to get through the muster point, you would normally need some kind of it's like hacking through with machetes. Victoria's sword pretty much works like a scythe in this case. And a few seconds later, there's just chunks of foliage coming out from a vastly lengthening trench as you're ploughing your way towards the main building. So for the muster point, you can see that there are some larger structures, but then there might be some things that were just kind of dropped around here. You remember the rich boys weren't great at putting things back; they would just drop things they didn't need. So you could, if you want, kind of try your luck using the muster point containers, the muster point as a whole, or just carry on to the structure. Which would you like to do?
I think probably would be best off carrying on to the structure. Like, we'll have a quick glance and see if there's anything obvious, but I think the structure is probably the best.
In that case, I would like. It's probably going to be Nima because she's the perception bunny. Nima, give me a perception check, diff 4, but also roll me a force dice as part of that roll.
Ooh, yes.
Not
And,
because you're force sensitive. That's a destiny roll.
Can I help? For blue?
Yes, you may. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll
blue
take
gets
an extra
thrown in.
blue.
And basically, the help is that JT is pointing out to you roughly what he remembers and kind of say, "Oh, there always used to be a campfire there, where the rich boys used to be drinking and pretending that they're doing all survival when they're not."
Yeah, there were drug stashes there, there, there,
Fun.
there.
A success.
Okay.
Oh, just the one. Blimey, that was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is a diff 4.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you get you start kind of pointing all this stuff out. You all put it to one side. You can see that there is an incredibly corroded and broken rifle.
Broken. What was it? You said, Simon. Broken and
Rifle.
Rifle. Yeah.
It's blaster based. It's a sniper rifle. Specifically, it's got an attachment to it that basically takes pictures of anything you shoot. It's literally a tourist camera / sniper rifle. What it does have, however, is it has part of the kind of let's try and get the jerk to actually make the kill properly, in that the camera also has a tracking system which locates the heart on any creature. So when you are aiming it at a creature that is silhouette 2 or larger, you get 2 blues to the roll.
Oh.
It automatically tracks the heart.
Does it still work, or is it?
It's in complete disrepair at the moment.
Yes.
So condition level 3.
I can't imagine that many people make heartbeat sensors. And I can't imagine you'd be able to get hold of one particularly easily.
Not really. No. This is. If you can find a manufacturing number and who made this.
This is what we call, in the bounty hunting business, a clue.
Yeah.
JT's playing the big bounty hunter, even though he never really...
Yes.
He's bought the bounty hunting ship, he's like doing the tracking.
I've got all the equipment, that's like a qualification, right?
All the gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea.
Okay. So
I
you
believe
have got...
technically he has a bounty hunting license as well. He
Yes.
upgraded it a while back.
He did.
Yes.
Okay, so I've noted down you've got the Heartseeker rifle. The downside to it is that rifle may be a clue, but there's nothing explicitly that points you to like a company or a particular person at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's continue looking then.
Okay. So that was just your passing glance on the way through.
Yeah.
Nima just saw the kind of like the stock and goes, what? And goes to pull it out. You guys kind of help her clear it out. And then immediately, you see that it's a Heartseeker rifle. You get to the structure. The structure has partially collapsed. It's overgrown, but again, that's no problem because you've got Victoria along with you. As she hacks away inside, suddenly, JT, your memory circuits are rebuilding what you see in front of you.
Yeah,
This
I
used to
presume
be-
X4's been helping like unlock memories that like they've either been shut down or stuff.
Yeah, as long as you ask him to, he would do.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be asking.
So yeah, he definitely helps you with that, and you can see that this area here was kind of like an open powwow, but it was one of those things that looked really impressive and clean. It looked like the place where hunting heroes, safari heroes would sit and drink and have meat, and you remember there being a ridiculously large and ostentatious fire pit in the middle, for which there, I guess, was the equivalent of a teppanyaki chef cooking whatever they brought back. There would be a barman in the corner, and also normally, let's go with a classic, a Twi'lek girl in the corner playing a harp or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
And you knew that she would kind of start spinning tales of these heroic hunters. But you also know that pretty much her songs were made up modular. She actually had an implant that gave her the lyrics, so she didn't really need to write them on the spot. Then after that, there would be the usual kind of sycophantic safari guides, and then you would be there as, the kind of major safari guide muscle. So the safari guides that were normally organics would be all about making the experience as pleasurable as possible. So they would be like teaching people about the beasts that are out there and trying to get this rich boy to listen to any form of training before they went out. And so they were more kind of zoologists than hunters, although they were reasonably good. I mean, we worked with some people who were just kind of like, yeah, they're cool. There are other people who are clearly kind of company dickheads.
Xenology is actually a career skill for me.
It is.
So,
And so, there would be a certain amount of zoology, xenology, but then when it came down to make sure you shoot first before the creature takes out his throat, that was you. That was you and droids like you.
yeah.
Occasionally there would be guides who would do that job as well, but they were few and far between, because anybody who had that level of skill wouldn't go babysitting to the bastards.
Yeah.
Sometimes some retired spacers would be doing it, but with the absolute reluctance.
So yeah, essentially, I'm looking for like the door into the back rooms where like like the staff room, which probably JT's never been in before. Like there's probably like a droid bay that JT would just stay in.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Once you were done, you never went. You occasionally would go into this powwow area so that the jerk would be introduced to you, and say, "Oh, by the way, you'll be taking this unit as well. You know, just in case that too many turn up at once." And they'd be like, "Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. You know, yeah, I can take out these beasts, but you know, I obviously can't take a whole pack of them. That would be ridiculous." And so, yeah, they would normally bring you in as a little bit of an ego mitigation stuff. It's like, look, you're taking this one with you, but it's okay. You're still a man.
Yeah, by the door, you've got the coats and the boots, the guns, and the droids.
Yeah.
On the way
you would
out,
have
grab
like
one
an
of each.
alcove, like your own little kind of walk-in cupboard that you would just go in and shut down. So yeah, you take a look around, and after opening what was clearly a kitchen, you managed to kind of shufty along and partially collapse this room. Is where you think all the staff for the company would be. The roof is open. Rain has quite clearly soaked this place. There's a kind of musty mold kind of look to it all. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for terminals and data banks, pretty much exclusively.
There is a communication terminal that is in the corner, and by the looks of the blaster fire on it, it's beyond useless. By the looks of it, it got shot so much the whole circuitry just set on fire.
Is there anything you could possibly see from that X4?
There's a series of tubes and whistles, and X4 turns up in your visor and says, "A quick burial."
Yeah.
I never actually understood what any of this meant. Why they had to leave so quickly. Well, that's one of my questions.
Yeah. They might have not left you on purpose.
That doesn't make any difference.
Of course not. Gonna destroy them all for what they did, regardless of why they did it.
The means doesn't matter, only the results.
Exactly.
Or they
Results-oriented
might already
thinking,
all
JT.
be dead.
You
That
can
would be
see
disappointing.
a
Yes,
few
that would
things.
be
You can see
very
that this used to be where people would hang out. You can see that part of the roof has crushed a bunch of lockers. It'd take a little bit of work lifting the parts of the roof away, but there may be something in there. I'd also like, again, a perception check and throw that destiny dice as well.
Yes, so...
Is there any kind of network still up that my comlink can loop into?
No. That would have been generated by the comms unit that has been absolutely trashed.
Are you helping me as well this time?
Oh, of course I am.
Yeah.
I am
What diff,
very
Simon?
much searching.
Diff here is less, it's 3. Things are more easy to see.
Yeah. 2 successes and 2 advantages.
Okay. So you find your a few different things. So first of all, collapsed under some of the roof and some of the furniture that was broken, so it's big coagulation. You can see what seems to be, you don't know where the hand's gone, but the wrist bone of a humanoid, and what seems to be the shattered top of the skull. It'd be a lot of digging to see if you can get to that one. You can see that also there was a data pad that when the roof came in, it smashed a table, and the roof and the table smashed the data pad. It's in less disrepair than the comms unit. The comms unit is completely buggered. Internal circuitry fire. There's nothing left.
We have only
this
rolled
could
dark
be
side
restored.
points, by the way, so far.
As well.
Yeah. I will basically tell Victoria that there is something here under something very heavy. And also there's a data pad.
Did you say the datapad was also stuck, or?
No, it's not so much stuck as the screen has been smashed. But from what you can tell, there's a possibility that one of the storage chips may be salvageable.
Yeah, I will grab that and sit down with X4.
Yep.
I'll be helping out, lifting things as and when.
Okay. Can you give me? I was about to say I do need a roll for that. Can you give me an athletics roll, diff 4?
Ooh, this 4.
Athletics is wrong, right?
Yep.
So that diff 4. Double check.
So this is the fact that the rubble is precarious and could fall back on itself.
That is not a success.
Okay.
Oh, there's a bunch of advantages.
You managed to get only half of the lockers uncovered, and the first two advantages is that you don't get hurt in the process. No strain, no wounds. The other two. Yeah, as you lift up one of the pieces, you do notice that there is something that's attached to it. Seems to be a piece of metal that got smashed by the roof as it came down. Kind of bent itself around a tile. So it's like hitting a piece of tinfoil with your hand, and it just wraps around your hand because of the impact of your hand. And you might be able to peel it off and beat it into into something that would be more recognizable.
Well, can she continue to start getting the...
No, you've done about as much as you're willing to do, Victoria. You have a feeling that if you started moving any of the rest of the stuff in front of the lockers, the whole bloody thing had come down. There's a section of wall that's looking really precarious, and some of your movements have not been that smooth, so you've jostled it a bit already. That was your failure. This was to succeed in getting everything out cleanly. But you've got 3 out of 6 lockers.
So can we get the datapad now?
Oh, the datapad was already got. JT already picked that up.
Cross-legged on the
has that
floor.
With X4. X4's little manipulator hands have come out and started kind of pulling away glass shards from the screen. So Victoria, you're closest. Would you like to open up the lockers?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the first one has a moldy set of fatigues. There is a picture of a semi-naked chiss on the inside of the locker, with a "see you next rotation," kiss, 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 on the thing. That's mostly faded now, and the moisture's kind of got to it as well. You can see that a very nice knife is in there as well. It seems to be some sort of skinning knife. It's not a vibroblade, because you know that a vibroblade would rip up the pelt too much. But it seems to be a very, very good skinning knife. So much so that it is a tool for skinning. So you'll get tool bonus. The second locker, as it opens up, has roll me a destiny dice, please.
Wait, you mean just the white one?
Yeah, just white.
Oh, finally! Finally!
Okay. You can see that there is a letter, and the letter is quite clearly from this person's partner, and it's saying, "I don't give a damn how how in trouble the company is, they need to allow you guys to step out of the situation and deal with it themselves. I can't believe that they are making you do this. Don't they realize you take one step wrong with these people and they will kill you. These guys are worse than the nobility that you'll find around the Republic. These guys will kill you just to make a point. And the fact that you have one of the brightest suns misspelled, is something that makes me incredibly worried. I've already packed my bags. The next time you come home, we're leaving.
Suns, S-O-N-S.
S-U-N-S.
S-U-N-S.
You have a feeling bright, best and brightest suns, as in sons of the Empire. But this is suns, as in burning thing in the sky.
Black suns. Well, do you show this to JT?
Well, yeah. I give him the photo, the knife. No, I'm keeping the knife. It was a nice knife. I do like nice knives. And the thing, and then I'll open up the next locker.
Okay. The next locker has a series of tools in there, and you find 3 droid repair patches. If you'd like to add that to your inventory,
Sure.
You can see that there is a fairly good toolkit. Seems to be top of the range. This I'm not gonna even get you to roll. It looks different to some of the tools you've seen around the asteroid. Oh, you've got some piloting planetary. They're definitely not vehicle toolkits. You've had to do things like, change some of the valves on the land speeder before and all the rest of it. It's not anything like that. They don't look like automotive tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will ask X4 if there's anything that's worth keeping.
X4 comes up and says, it kind of does and explains to you all that this is a droid tech toolkit. So the mechanics technicians that are specialized droid tech, if they had this, it's semi-automotive. So, semi-automatic, as in they strap this toolkit to their body. And as they mention it, there's a vague recollection of a figure repairing you, JT, but you can't recall all of it. You can't recall what they look like, but yeah, you're pretty sure you got repaired by this thing at some point, or at least serviced.
Yeah. Are there?
Might as well keep it. Should be worth some money then.
It's a shoulder-mounted droid tech toolkit.
Are there any company logos on any of these?
Give me a. Let's see, what would it be? I hate defaulting to perception. I would like from somebody a skullduggery check.
Oh,
How's your
but
cunning?
Cheryl's not here.
I very nearly put points in this time round.
Skullduggery.
It's gonna be me. I
Cunning.
have 1 point of streetwise, but I don't have skullduggery.
So I have 3 green dice in it.
That's more than me.
Yeah.
3
You are the
green,
cunning
1 blue. It's
Yeah,
fair.
3 green, 1 blue. Yep. Diff.
Okay. The diff is only 2.
Okay. Might be able to do this then.
You only get 1 because you don't know what you're looking for. Okay. You don't find a company logo.
Too easy.
I find something else.
But you do spot signs, Nima, of little hidey holes that have been, because again, it's flavoured by skullduggery, little hidey holes where people have clearly ripped out stashes of things. And one of the things that you can see it in one of the little stashes, you see a credit slip. The credit slip has, if you scan it, it has a kind of almost the equivalent of a Swiss bank account code and 300 credits.
Hey, 300 credits. This has a bank code though, which is important.
A Swiss, like the equivalent of a Swiss bank code.
What's that?
It means it's fucking hard to trace.
Yeah.
Yes, but we got a state-of-the-art astromech.
And some slicers we know back in the Sprawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
did
give
X4...
that to Runbridge and I'm sure he'll figure something out.
So, X4, I believe, was poking around in the data pad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be a very difficult test. It's a formidable test because it's nearly trashed. He has got JT helping him, which gives him blue. And so let's see how we go. Okay. Sure.
Well done.
So the little astromech starts ripping out bits that he doesn't like. And at one point, he accidentally touches what seems to be a long since leaking battery. And I'm going to give him 1 wound for that.
Blimey.
Ouch.
As some of his circuitry that's in the manipulator hits the acid, and you hear a wow from the little droid. He comes forward and with a annoyed set of beeps and whistles, pulls out a little welding thing, fires it at the battery, and the battery pops and kind of skitters across the room. And with a kind of mumbling, then kind of comes back out with a little soldering iron arm and manages to beep, 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 extract something and goes, oh. And you can see that a tray pops out of X4, and he very carefully places the chip into the tray. The tray has effectively got a load of chip sockets on it. The tray pops back in, and you get the beep 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 of kind of the waiting sound of an R unit, and X4 says, "I've got to leave."
Well,
Do tell.
So the business was called the Lone Star Safari Adventures Company. It needed to be that cheesy.
Oh, of course.
And it is just looking at the general equivalent of Star Wars Internet. I don't think they ever call it anything. It says that they're out of operations now. There's no headquarters.
That doesn't surprise me. I reckon the Clone Wars did a... Wow, I blanked. Did one on tourism.
And X4 says we might be able to trace people who are attached to the company. Maybe kind of ask around, see if anybody knows anything about them. But we have a name now.
Yeah. I'm going to basically plop down in front of X4 and say, the name of the one I was protecting is probably in here somewhere. Think, think.
yes.
Do you think it's safe to try and get it out?
A really lengthy series of beeps and whistles translated in your various HUDs starts an explanation where X4 believes that by using the visual indices of what you can see around you, so he points out the rifle, he points out some of the furniture that's just about still surviving, and some of the other things that you found so far, believes that he'd be able to stand a slim chance of being able to recall the person. He says that, with more, he would have a better chance of success, but at the moment he's got enough at least to make an attempt.
Let's hold off for the moment. I don't know the dangers, and I want to be able to act on this information afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically JT is just going to comb this building and look for the things he was looking for before, and also like any kind of map that might show like the way to whatever camp I was at, that kind of thing.
Okay. I would like you, JT, to do me a vigilance check. The diff is 4, but I am using a dark side point to upgrade it.
Well, I'm also going to use a point to upgrade mine.
Yep.
Fuck you.
I think it's probably unlikely because of the way JT is built, but oh, hey! Success and a triumph.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was so hoping you were going to get a despair. I had something ready for the despair.
Nope.
Suddenly,
Yeah, that was amazing.
JT's arm, unbidden, as the memory resurfaces, JT's arm immediately shoots with preternatural speed, well, mechanical speed actually, to the back of his head as you check for the restraining bolt. And immediately your core programming goes through a full diagnostic for invasive technology. And by the time the loading bar gets to the end, which doesn't take much time, you are pretty certain that somebody isn't invading your core programming. But you're suddenly very heightened, very alert, and you realize part of the story. Immediately prior to the escape, your client, little shitbag that he was, pulled out a device that you didn't recognize as a gun. It was just kind of like almost like a remote control for a TV. He did aim it at you, and as you were about to ask what he's doing, I found yourself under the influence of your restraining bolt. And he basically said to you, "They're here to kill me. You need to kill them all first."
Oh.
Turned around on his heel and said, "Now we hunt."
Well, isn't that interesting?
And we will find out next week.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you've with that triumph, you didn't even get a glazed version of it all. You know that your client turned you and set you on hunting them, whoever them was. But now you'll be able to do CSI The Fringe, and check it out next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and don't worry, I will put your lives in danger. I promise, Felicia.
If, yes, there will be some smashing and sword fighting for you, Felicia.
Yeah.
Basically,
Being that there are some amazing creatures in the Star Wars universe, and you brought me to a place where I can use more of them. Yay!
Yay! Question mark.
I have a feeling it's going to be completely underwhelming as I go, I'll throw more. I'll throw 8 at 3 of you, at which point Victoria just goes, lob head off, lob head off, lob head off.
I mean, we have just broken 400 XP last session, so...
Yeah.
What?
Did
You
we?
are tricked
Oh,
out. So.
I've just broken 400 XP because I'm a droid.
Yes.
I start with 175.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, doesn't add up.
That different starting XP where I'm just kind of like, what are you all on? And then going, it's a different value for each of you. So,
Pretty sure I'm at like 240.
yeah, well, that's why we started noting it down as positive. So we have in the player's lore file that we have put together that you are, as of the end of last mission, you are original XP plus 240.
Yes.
And depending on what you unearth in this, because I have no set XP goals, I will just arbitrarily throw XP.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We're digging into JT's backstory, which I absolutely love, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. You guys have got a bit of jungle survival coming up. If you continue going with this, the stuff that I kind of penciled in is that you've got some jungle survival coming up. A bit of welcome to the jungle, baby. You're gonna die.
Yeah. We haven't rolled obligation,
Welcome to the Jungle
but
Guns
we're
N' Roses,
basically doing JT's obligation, so...
Yes, this will reduce JT's obligation score.
yeah.
Indeed.
So you are ripping this out at the roots.
Yeah.
It'll go down very low depending on how far you go.
Yeah.
Of course, Ed may choose to get more obligation based on some of the stuff he learns,
Of
but
course.
we'll see about that. So yeah, there'll be as you guys have been following this, I'm like, oh well, this will lead to this, this will lead to this. So we're going to do a bit of jungle fun. I think a bit of CSI as well, because now that JT knows that he did something here, he needs to figure out what the hell it was. And then after that, you guys are going to be jetting off to wherever the clues lead you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're going to need a strong arm, a silver tongue, and a fast blaster to be able to get out of whatever danger you put yourselves in.
Yes.
So I will write based on that. But if there's anything else that you'd want to kind of investigate as part of this as well, we can kind of chop and change things as well. So that sounds good.
Yeah, JT is like other people's priorities are above JT's. So if somebody else says, "Okay, JT, we need to do something else now," JT will go, "Okay, we'll come back to this later. We put this on the back burner."
Nima and Victoria would be like, "Oh yeah, we're doing JT stuff now. We don't have like anything to do."
Not like we have anything better to do, and I get to stab things.
Yeah, stab things
I
that.
can't be coped up in the sprawl for long periods of time. That is impossible.
Yeah.
It's like I need to go out and stab things. Oh, like dangerous predators. I can stab them guilt free.
Yeah.
Well, there
It's
will
pretty
be
much
time.
guilt-free regardless. The problem is the stern-faced wife in the background.
Yeah.
There will be
Tapping
time
her
while the
foot and
fire
saying,
spray
"We're
is
supposed to
in
be
the
going."
shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be time when there's fire spray in the shop, so we can do stuff in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've already, because whenever things like this turn up and I'm like, right, I've got to ad-lib this, I've already found something that, I mean, we've got Perception Bunny Nima, so her involvement in this is freaking obvious. But as I say, I've got, as they're like, okay, a nice kind of tooth and claw fight for Victoria, tick box that. JT, obviously, there's stuff for him there, and it's like, it's, you know, and for Chevron, that's why I said, oh yeah, skullduggery check, because I was like, yep, you're gonna feel that Chevron isn't here. So yeah,
like,
you've
oh,
got
no.
that. And I have an idea that I had last time and went, oh damn, you know, I had the idea too late. So I have an idea of an item that Victoria could gain from the next encounter. So that
Interesting.
that isn't a big sword. So yeah.
It's not going to replace your baby.
Yeah. And I think it's very in character as well to have. So yeah. Anyway, it is 11 o'clock now, so we're going to stop our game here. Big thank you to Felicia, Ed, and Corinne for their story today. I've been your DM, Simon. So thank you for listening to my ramblings.
Sorry, Kevin, you arrived at the end.
Yes. We're just going to advertise very slightly for the ones here about our game coming up this Monday. So we still have Benefactor as normal, but we're going to start a 10-part series. What was it called, Simon? We haven't had a title yet.
The working title of it, because the title's the last thing I write. So the working title of it is...
thank you for the follow.
Thank you. Is The Price of Power. At the moment. But for now, I just want to call it The Forsaken Adventure, because it'll be the first time that you guys, both viewers and players, get to learn about the Forsaken faction, the Pirates of the Seven Sails, the Nation of the Seven Sails in Illyria. So this is a D&D campaign, 10-parter, that is in the same world, my world, Illyria, that the Benefactor is held in. And it will be following one of the pirate factions that is the de facto nation of the sea. So land in Illyria is one country, but the whole of the sea is considered to be another country. Not that many people agree with that, but that's politics for you. Yes. And it'll be following a crew of junior officers with their first full command of a ship the way back, as they learn about the major duties of the Forsaken and how they take those who are penitent to enact vengeance on the wronged. There's going to be a few features. For example, anybody who types in !cannon or !loot right now will get a response from Nightbot. I still haven't changed the 1 minute timer. I've got it down here. So at the moment, it can only be done once a minute. I'm going to be taking that down to 0. Hoping people aren't going to spam it, because that's going to ruin things. But yes, you, the viewers, will be the crew. So you will be playing kind of a variation on the non-player characters, and you'll be contributing player characters. I think the setting for was CPC or
PPEs. PPC. So participating
player characters.
Yes.
Was coined by a member of the chat.
It was Hermit. It was Hermit.
Yeah. And so yes, you guys will be playing the crew, which means that you will have effectively the a little bit of story that will happen along the lines. The results of the ! Loot, ! Cannons, and the others that I have got coded, but I'm going to be loading up just before the first game so that nobody can go around guessing, is only work when you're in that game. So you can start maybe writing a little backstory of your own just for fun as to this little crew member who is on the Forsaken ship. And you can do things like get a pet cat, become a spy master. There is a spy master already.
Yes, I'm the spy master. So you don't become a spy master, but you
don't become a spy master.
You become my informant.
You become an informant. Yeah. I think it says spy.
Don't worry. The bosun is really nice and works on positive reinforcement,
which is
cookies and cupcakes.
But
if you don't listen, it's a one-way street to hold person and getting thrown into the bay.
Yeah, as a whole person in the Cab Nine Tails goes scary.
Yes, you will be. You can also be thrown in the brig. There's all sorts of shenanigans that we have thought up, and the players for that will be Corinne and Felicia, because for some reason they like my games, or they just keep making me write help.
Alright, It's I who will send you to the brig.
Yeah.
Both of you.
The third and fourth players are going to be Jordan, who is Steg in the chat right now,
Brave.
who will be playing he's the master of arms. No, he's the
Master Gunner.
Master Gunner. And also from the Abingdon Guild of Adventurers, of which myself, Corinne, and Ed are all members, we will have the lovely Dan, who will be joining us. Wonderful guy, great to roleplay with. And he will be coming in and being on Chaotic for the first time. So drawing more people into our little community. So I hope that you guys will see us all then. Again, Monday. 8 p.m. UK time till 11 p.m. UK time.
Because we
However,
like consistency.
that is not our next game. Our next game is, as always, 8 p.m. Friday night for our ongoing long campaign, D&D 5th Edition Benefactor. And the guys are back from their own adventure on the sea. And now looking into what the hell happened to Tristane Osterman. The Duke's son, and some of the foreboding that he had to go through such extreme measures. And,
or, in the spirit of being chaotic neutral, we will leave that to the proper authorities as we descend over the ocean to do some other shenanigans and building our base.
Exactly, yeah. You'll just ignore the main storyline and stuff. But yes, that will
we
be
will not. We will not destroy your campaign, because that would be very, very mean.
You can miss stuff out. You can go do other things. There's some things that will just find you because, well, I put a character in that's like that. Renata's not just a key component. She's also a very good DM tool as well.
Having a high-level wizard is the greatest thing for DM. She can be anywhere at any time.
Exactly. So please meet us then, Friday, 8 p.m. UK time for the Benefactor. Until then, take care, and we will see you soon.
See you soon. Good night.
Bye-bye.